Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing this evening? It's 12:01 a.m. on this beautiful, I was gonna say full moon evening, but it's not a full moon outside, but it looks like it. The moon is so bright tonight. And my good Judy Valerie texted me and she said she is at the casino. So I thought, you know what? I will ride up there, vlog while I'm driving up there, and let's use the Drunk Elephant lip balm today. I thought, you know what? I will drive up there and go in and vlog while I'm on my way up there and say hi to her and spend 60 bucks. And then come back and listen to my audiobook and finish my audiobook. So, yeah, that's my plan for the evening. And, I've got, I think, just about, I thought I was going to finish the audiobook last night, but I didn't. I ended up listening to some podcasts. So I'm going to finish my audiobook tonight. It's actually really good, you guys, now that it's down to the wire. But it's one of these books that like twists and turns and twists and turns, and what you think it is about is not what it's really about, and on and on and on. You know what I'm talking about? And so I really thought I had it figured out, and now I don't have it figured out, but I will say this. It's really funny that I said that it's like Rosemary's Baby, because something in Rosemary's Baby is almost identical. It's very small, but it's almost identical to this book. So I was like, I wonder if she, well, it's Riley Sager's the guy. I was like, I wonder if he got the idea from Rosemary's Baby about this. So anyway, that's my goal for the evening. And then tomorrow I'm going to start the, what do you call it? Tomorrow I'm going to start the True Crime Book Club for the month, which is called My Friend Anna. You know, I've been thinking about the fact that, like, I devote so much of my vlogs to talking about books on here, and I know some of you love it, and I know some of you are totally annoyed by it, and, which I totally understand. If you don't read or whatever, you're probably like, I could care less about this. But what's so funny is, and I know that some of you say this is like a podcast, and there's like podcasts that I used to listen to, and like I didn't know anything about what they were talking about, but I just would sit there. It's like talk radio. When I was a kid and I was growing up, I loved to fall asleep to talk radio, and I didn't know what they were talking about half the time. I think that's why I, you know, fell in love with Coast to Coast AM and started listening to that when somebody introduced me to that. I actually remember the person that introduced me to it, and we were sitting there drinking coffee one day, and he was like, I said, you look tired or something like that. Did you not get a lot of sleep last night? This was a friend of mine in sobriety. I'm trying to figure out how long ago this was. It was probably, shoot, 8 or 9 years ago. Yeah, like 8 or 9 years ago, probably. Probably 9 years ago. Oh, maybe 10 years ago. Because I'm trying to think of some things that happened that coincided with our friendship. So anyway, I bet it was like 10 years ago. I'm trying to think about his wedding, to be honest. I was like, when did he get married? Okay, so it was before that. And so anyway, we were sitting there, and he said, I stayed up too late last night listening to Coast to Coast AM. And I was like, well, what is Coast to Coast AM? And he goes, you don't know what Coast to Coast AM is? And at that time, I don't know if Art Bell had passed away yet. He was like one of the original hosts, and there was another original host. I can't think of what his name is. I know people are gonna sound off. And George Norrie is now the host of it. But back in the day, it was even better. They're great hosts now that they have guest hosts sometimes. They're great today. It's just, it's different than it used to be. And like he would really, like the wild card line, well, I'll talk about that in a second. So anyway, but I remember talking to my friend about it, and he was like, you don't know what Coast to Coast AM, you don't know what Coast to Coast AM is? That totally reminded me of my mom. My mom, back in the day, she would say cell phone really weird. She would never use her cell phone except for like, she always had it charged, and she always wanted it on her. And like when she was sick and in her bed for a long time, like if anybody went near her phone because it was plugged in on the floor, she would say, don't unplug it, I might need it in case I need to call 911. She was always panicked that it wouldn't be charged and she couldn't call 911. I know. But she would call it, she would say, my cell phone? How did she say it? It was so funny how she said it. But anyway, every time she would say it, I would just start laughing. She'd be like, what? Do I say it funny? I'd say, yeah, you say it funny. But anyway, So he said, you've never heard of Coast to Coast AM? Coast to Coast AM? And I said, no, I haven't. And he goes, oh my God. And I go, well, what is it? And he goes, they talk about, you know, I don't know what he said, but conspiracies and shadow people and spirits and psychics and mediums and all this kind of stuff. Oh, I wanted to see if, I'm gonna drive by here. I'm gonna pull into Kroger really quick and see if they have nice mums. But he was like, and I remember these exact words. They have pumpkins out already. Do they really? Oh my God, they do. They have pumpkins out, beautiful pumpkins. And I remember he used his exact words. He was like, be careful, it's a slippery slope. And I was like, what do you mean? And he was like, oh my God, oh, and they have the baskets, just like Ed had. They're $14.99. You guys, I have to show you these mums. Okay, these are the baskets that Alex's Uncle Ed had. Let me just show you really quick. Hold on a second. Look at these mums. They are so beautiful. Well, these don't have the baskets, and these are kind of still coming together. But these were the baskets that Alex's uncle had on the kitchen counter. Aren't those so cool? These mums don't look so great, though. I mean, those don't look so bad. This is the color my mom always got, like the rust. Man, the camera really pulls them. But you guys see those? Aren't those baskets so cool? They're like, they're not wicker, I guess, but they're like wood. They're so pretty. Party Garden Mum 10-inch, $14.99. Don't think 10-inch, family friendly. Okay, family friendly. So anyway, what was I talking about? Oh, Coast to Coast AM. We'll maybe go to the other Kroger and see if they're, I mean, not tonight, but tomorrow I'll maybe go to the other Kroger and see if their mums are better. We need to back up a little bit on that. Okay. So my friend was like, be careful, it's a slippery slope. And I was like, what do you mean it's a slippery slope? I need to charge my phone. And he was like, you guys, I have all these cords, look at this. He was like, once you start listening to it, you won't be able to stop. And I was like, yeah, whatever. And I swear to God, for like the next, this one's like holding the door open because they just closed, I guess. It's probably like, what is he doing out here? But for like the next 2 years, every night, I listen to Coast AM. That was before I was really listening to audiobooks a lot. I didn't, like, I always listen to audiobooks like, oh my God, my phone is like so not charged. I always listen to audiobooks, like back in the day I would listen to the like audio cassettes, and then I also listened to, oh no, Rose Colored Glasses by John Connolly. Okay, that's on my iTunes right now. But back in the day I would listen to audiobooks like on tapes, I always did. And when I was a kid, I don't know if some of you remember this, but I would have the book. It would be like a record player. Well, they also came in just like small books and they had tapes too. But like you would read along with it and then it would beep at the end of the page and you would turn your page. Do you guys remember that? So I used to have those books. And so when, what was I gonna say? Shoot, now I can't remember. Okay, so then I used to listen to the audio cassette tape audiobooks, and then I listened to DVD or CDs, and then I started listening to Audible. And like I started listening to Audible because of Tyler Oakley and Gigi Gorgeous. Like they were ads that were paid. So when people say like sponsorships and stuff like that don't do anything, I specifically got Audible because of Gigi Gorgeous and Tyler Oakley. Like I remember that. And I remember Tyler Oakley, his book was the Ellen DeGeneres book. So I think I used one of their codes to get Audible actually. So yeah. Like, Audible reached out to me to do, like, an affiliate code a while ago, and I was like, but, like, truly, like, I mean, I talk about Audible so much, but I feel like the people that I already know, like, they already sign up for Audible. They're signed up for Audible, right? So who would I really get to sign up for? I feel like that would be stupid, so I don't even think I responded to the email, actually. I just was like, but anyway. So But I don't know, Tyler Oakley or Gigi Gorgeous got my money from that affiliate code, and it was well worth it, let me tell you, because I love Audible to this day. But I was just on there the other day, well, yesterday, I guess, and I was looking at when my next credit comes around, and I still have like a week until my next credit, and I'm like, oh my God. Well, of course I don't listen to books that fast anymore, so what's the point? And I have like 50 books in my, probably more than that, in my library. But anyway, so my friend said, be careful, it's a slippery slope. And for like the next 2 years, I listened to Coast radio at least 3 to 4 times a week, and became obsessed with it. And the thing is that they're kind of like, the shows are mixed up, so I really like the shows about like spirits and psychics and all that kind of stuff. Y'all know I love all that, so I love that. I love the ones about theories like Loch Ness Monster and Bigfoot and all those kinds of things, right? I love when they talk about shadow people, although that kind of scares me sometimes. In all honesty, it kind of scares me. I like to hear about the, like, my favorite is the alien, like ET stories. Like, I love all that. I don't love, like, the political conspiracies. Like, that's not my favorite. And part of it is because I don't really know enough about it or understand enough about it sometimes when I'm listening to it. But I don't know that it really matters. And back in the day, I would even listen to those. I'd just be like, da-da-da-da-da-da. But my favorite on Coast to Coast AM, so it's from 1 to 4 or 1 to 5 a.m., Monday through Friday. I think it's Monday through Friday. Or Sunday through Thursday, but I think it's Sunday through Thursday or Monday through Friday. But if you Google search, like, I don't know, if you're from, you know, Wilmington, Delaware, and you put Coast to Coast AM, Wilmington, Delaware, it'll pull up what station it is for you and what time it's on. Like, in Indianapolis, if you're in Indianapolis, it's on 93.1. I bet it's, oh, it's not on yet. Hold on a second. I bet it's not on yet. Turn it off Sirius Radio. See, I have it, like, I had it on 94.1. I wonder why I had it. Is it now on 94.1? No, it can't be. 93.1 Talk Radio. There it is.
United States of America.
It's mobile news right now. So, at 1 o'clock, which is in like 45 minutes, it'll be on. But yeah, you should check it out sometime. But I'm telling you, like my friend said to me, it's a slippery slope. Once you start listening to it, you can't stop. And like the last hour or the last 2 hours, this one thing that they do on there, if you listen to it, you'll know what I'm talking about, is that they go, cha-chung, cha-cha-cha-chung. Like they have this like music. Well, for some reason, it reminds me of being a kid and listening. Like this is the most construction this area has had, and I don't even know how long, you guys. Like this construction is absolutely insane through here. But when I was a kid, you know, like that kind of like distant sound that talk radio sounds, but then they always have those like really great talk radio voices. It's like that, and like it would like lull me to sleep. And my mom would always think it was real funny because I would listen to talk radio like when I was a kid, you know, like, I mean, not at like 6, but like when I was like 12 and 14, you know, 12, 13, 14, I would listen to talk radio, and I don't even remember what I listened to back then. There were more of those like call-in shows when I was growing up. Now they're all like sports or politics, but back when I was a kid, they had like a lot of shows that were just, do you remember that TV show? It's called The Night Listener? It was like that. Like you could call in, or like Delilah. I used to listen to Delilah. Was that her name? I think that was her name. My mom loved her. My mom forever, ever listened to that Laura Schlesinger, or whatever her name was. And when my mom passed away, I like found all these journals, and my mom, like they said in there, it was real weird. It said stuff like, well, Laura said this and Laura said that, and she was talking about Laura Schlesinger, and I had no idea. And it was like one whole journal devoted to just like things my mom had heard on like pop culture. I don't think it's probably any surprise to anybody that my mother was a complete liberal, and she listened to Rush Limbaugh. And I used to say to her, I was like, Mom, if you're such a liberal, like why do you listen to Rush Limbaugh? And she'd say, you have to know both sides. That's what my mother would say to me. But she listened to all of that. She listened to Rush Limbaugh. She would listen to Laura Schlesinger. She listened to Delilah sometimes. Cracks me up when I think back on that. I don't even know if those shows still exist, but yeah. But my favorite from Coast to Coast AM, and I do the imitations sometimes, but I don't do them well, is like the Wild Car Hotline. And it'll be like, and so they'll take it's just like wild card, and anybody can call in, right? And they sometimes cut them off, which is real funny. And they'll call in, they'll say, wild card hotline number 3, come in, Tulsa, Oklahoma, and then they'll be like, hi George, this is Jim Bob from Tulsa, Oklahoma. I'm out here on the big rig. And he'll say, well, hi Jim Bob, how are you doing? Well, I'm just driving the big rig, you know, and well, I drive for Coca-Cola. Well, it's nice to hear that, Jim Bob. Do you have a question for us, Jim Bob? No, I don't have a question. I was just wanting to tell you that I think the Northern Lights are moving south. I saw them today and I was driving across Texas. Well, all right, Jim Bob, thank you. And then it goes into the next call and it's like, you know, Cheryl Lee from, I don't know, people laugh when I come up with these cities, but it's like, you know, Paris, Texas, and it's like, Cheryl Lee, hotline number 5, what do you have for us? Well, hey George, Cheryl Lee out here in Paris, Texas. Well, how you doing, Cheryl Lee? Well, I'm doing good. Now, let me tell you, George, I work up at the Speedway up the street, you know. Now, I was coming down Now, do you have a question for us, Cheryl Lee? No, George, I have a story for you I want to tell you. Now, just wait a second. It's about them ETs that you're always talking about here. Now, George, I work at the Speedway, you know. Oh, my Lord, they got me on that third shift, about kills me. And I came home the other day, and they let me off a little early. It was about 4:30. It was slow. It was 2 of us working there. Judy Ann, she's the other one that works there. But it was me and Judy Ann. So Judy Ann said, hey, Cheryl Lee, you go home a little bit early. You go see your husband, Dwayne. So Dwayne, he's my husband, you know. Cheryl Lee, what's the story, honey? Well, anyway, George, the story is I came home from the Speedway early, and now my husband, he works at the factory, you know, up the street in Paris, Texas. Most of us, everybody out here, they work, you know, for Chrysler. But anyway, so, you know, I made me a bologna sandwich, and I was sitting out on my back porch. I was talking to my granddaughter on the phone. Now, she's getting into all kinds of trouble these days, George. You know, she's getting into all kinds of trouble. Well, what kind of trouble is she getting into, Cheryl Lee? Oh, my Lord. Now, she's only in 6th grade, but you think she's 30. She wears herself makeup. She's getting into all kinds of trouble these days. But anyway, I was talking to my granddaughter on the back porch, you know, and we got this cornfield behind us. Now, I was out there and I was drinking a Budweiser, but I only had one, so don't try to say I was drunk. I might drink a little bit, but I still love Jesus. Now, let me tell you something, George. I was sitting out there. Now, I wasn't tipsy. I wasn't drunk. Now, I swear to the Lord Jesus, I was sitting there on my back patio talking to my granddaughter, eating my bologna sandwich, drinking my PBR Light like I was telling you about. Now, anyway, I saw one of them alien ships land in my cornfield. Now, George, when I tell you that thing looked exactly like every picture of every flying saucer I've ever seen, I mean to tell you, and I counted it, and it had 219 lights going around there, and they were all of them green and purple. Well, Cheryl Lee, can you tell us what happened after that? Well, I was standing there, and then, you know, we got this cornfield, and all of a sudden, there is this 7-foot alien. He walks out of the cornfield. You know, he's one of those grays, like you always talk about, them black eyes. I wasn't scared because, you know, I'd seen him in all those movies. That Close Encounters of the Third Kind, I think that was the first time I ever saw him. So I wasn't real scared. And I said, hey, how you doing? And he said, howdy, Cheryl Lee. And I said, well, how do you know my name? And he said, hey, I've been watching your house for a long time. Now, come on, I'm going to abduct you. I said, hell no, you ain't abducting me. I'm getting back in my house. And I went inside and I told Dwayne. And Dwayne, he was watching the game and he was so drunk anyway, he didn't even know what was going on. And I looked, and then that spaceship, it went away. That flying saucer just flew. You guys, it is unreal. You think I'm joking? You think I'm lying? I am not. It is absolutely hilarious, you guys. It is unreal. It is the best thing you've ever seen. By the way, for all of you out there that think I script my vlogs, I just entirely scripted that whole thing. Oh my God, it's not my honey. It's not my oh my God, that would be such a good motto for lip chap. Somebody should call it lip chap. It's a lip thing. Lip balm. Chubby chap. Oh my God, it's not my honey. Get it? Because I like my honey one. Yeah, I actually did do my hair tonight. Thank you for noticing. I did it for the meeting. Do it for the meeting. So, I had a pretty boring day today, if you want to know the truth. Okay. Did I already say this isn't going to be a long vlog because I'm going up to meet my friend Valerie for a little bit. Anyway, and I got to listen to my audiobook on my way back. So I got up today and dealt with a bunch of stuff at home, the dogs and all that kind of stuff. Then I went and got my coffee from Starbucks. Do I have my cup in here? I know. I've been finishing my coffee at home and then the cup is just on the counter. And what did I do after that? Oh, then I went to Bob Evans. I was very excited about this. I hadn't been to Bob Evans since, I think, since when I was became a vegetarian, but I could be wrong, I don't know. But anyway, it's hard to go to Bob Evans as a vegetarian. They don't really have a whole lot except for a side salad. And now I found the Cinny Biscuits, or Cinna Biscuits. So they have, everybody was like commenting, not everybody, but I got like 3-5 comments, excuse me, on my review video yesterday of Joelle's Hot Chicken. People were like, review Bob Evans Cinna Biscuits. Well, I didn't even know they had them out. So I went over to Bob Evans. It was completely dead. I went inside. They were super nice, but it was like 93 degrees today, you guys. It was so hot. It is 77 right now. And I said, you know, can I get the Cinna Biscuits? And she was like wanting to seat me, and I was like, no, I'm just doing carry out. They were super quick though. So I got a pumpkin spice latte. I got Cinna Biscuits and pumpkin spice latte. And let me just tell you, those Cinna Biscuits are like the finest thing in the entire world, okay? They taste like an elephant ear or a funnel cake, more like an elephant ear, really. And then you dip them in this frosting. If you have a Bob Evans in your town, go get them. I mean, they are so, so good. They were absolutely delicious. So, yeah, I did that review, and then I came home, and then I was talking to some people on the phone, recovery stuff, and so I got like real sidetracked, and I had all my stuff set up to make a video. I had made a Peterisms video, and I was uploading that, and I was uploading my review video, and at that point, I like looked, and it was like 6:15, and I was like, because I just been like cleaning stuff up around the house, you know, and I was like, well, I gotta pick up Tanya at 7:15, which I ended up not getting to her house till 7:30, and we got to the meeting early, which is, I have no idea. So anyway, how that happened, but so I was like, I don't want to be in a complete rush, and I wanted to take a shower and stuff. I actually wore a really nice, like, button-down tonight. Well, not, it's like a Western button-down. That's red plaid. But I fold it and put it away, because I might wear it tomorrow for my videos, because I liked how it looked. So anyway, and then I went in and I picked up Tanya, and yeah, then we went to the meeting, and it was real fun, and it was a good meeting. It was a really good meeting. It was funny because it was kind of about like what I talk about in my Peterisms videos, like today and a lot, but you know, like it was really about the love and stuff, you know, and like prayer and meditation and you know, what God wants for us and things like that, and like getting through things with like serenity and peace. And we talked a lot about having like a foundation of serenity and peace, and it was weird. I was like, I've talked about this like the last couple days. I must need to hear this again, because I didn't bring it up, somebody else did, and I was like, I must need to hear this again, you know? That's kind of how it works for me in the universe. It's like when I hear things over and over again, I'm like, okay, so I'm supposed to be hearing this. There's a message I need to be hearing through this. But it was good. And then Tanya and I talked to some of our friends. We didn't stay real long. And then she wanted me to go take her to get a fountain pop. So I took her to go get a fountain pop. And then, what did I do after that? We drove around for a little bit. And then I took her home. And then Alex went over to his friend's house. He and Sarah went over to another friend's house who wasn't feeling real good, and they took her some soup. And then he took Sarah home, and then he got home about an hour after I did, and then we sat there and we talked for a while, and then he just went to bed. And so I was like, well, I'm gonna go vlog. Oh, it's gonna stop, hold on. Okay, so anyway, and then he went to bed, and I had just gotten texted from Valerie, and so I told him, I said, I think I'm gonna go vlog and then head up to the casino for a little bit. He was like, okay, babe. So that was it. It was a good day. It was relaxing. It was nice. Too blessed to be stressed. I really wish, you know, like, I know I've said this on here before, but I really wish that you guys could see, like, really how much my life is about sobriety. Because it's like a piece that's like really, like I talk about sobriety, I talk about, you know, going to meetings, I talk about recovery and things like that, but I mean, like, I don't know, just in like my friendships, and I have some amazing friends of mine that are sober, you know, that just like have incredible stories and just the interactions of how it you know, throughout the day, like me, like talking to people and, you know, like, I don't know, it's just, recovery is such a great life. It is, you know, such an amazing life. I was like, what just happened to the radio? It just like changed. And I don't know, like, you know, like it's one thing for me to get on video and talk about it, and it's another thing to see it. I'm trying to think of like a movie or something that I would say is a really good example of what sober life is like. I'm trying to think if anybody really wanted to see, because I think, like, for me, you know, one of the, like I said this today in my Peter Rosen's video, you know, when I got sober, I thought my fun is over. Like, I'm not going to be having any fun anymore. You know, I never could have in a million years imagined, first of all, meeting Tanya, the best friend I've ever had in my entire life, not to mention, you know, several of my other friends that have, like, just diehard, genuine, great friends that I've had for 10 and 20 years, you know? And, like, you know, Tanya and I tonight, like, laughing so hard, we just thought we were going to start crying, you know? And it's like, I never could have imagined myself having fun like that, you know? I never could have imagined myself, you know, being excited about a workshop or something. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's just, we have a lot of fun, and I'm never bored, and I have the life that I have today as a result of my sobriety. You know, I have my husband, I have my dogs, I have my house, I have my relationship with my dad and my stepmom, who we were in a hilarious group text today. You know, I have my relationship with Alex's family. I get to do YouTube, which is so cool. You know, it's interesting because, like, I don't think it's, you've seen me talk in videos before about, like, I'm trying, you know, people that have had substance issues like Tana Mojo and whatever, right? And I have to believe there are YouTubers out there that struggle on a daily basis with, like, drinking and drugs, like, really consumed with it. I don't really know how they're successful at YouTube. Like, I don't know. I mean, I wasn't successful at anything when I was doing that. And I know that there's a lot of people out there that are, you know, functioning, successful alcoholics, supposedly. I don't really know what that word means, but I know that there are, and I've made some comments about it. And I think people misunderstood what I meant about when I would say functioning. I mean, trust me, in my family alone, I know some functional alcoholics, you know, like extended family and things like that. But I know what people mean by that. I made a comment on here one time that I don't believe in the term functional alcoholic, because if you're functional, then you're not really an alcoholic, because it's not affected your life and you don't, you know what I mean? You haven't really lost control over it. And there were a lot of people that were offended by that comment, and they said, my so-and-so or my this or my that is a functional alcoholic. And listen, I totally get what you're saying. What I'm saying is this, is that if you're sitting there saying to me, my family member is a functioning blah, 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 and it's affected us, then it has affected you. And so they're not highly functioning, if that makes sense. But I understand how we use the word in our society, and yes, I use that word too, and I agree with it. So, you know, I apologize if I offended anybody about that, and I totally understand where you were coming from, and that was a long time ago. I guess I should have probably said something about it then, but I mean, I understand what people were saying. I think all of us have our fair share of functioning alcoholics or addicts. But, you know, the thing that's kind of sad about that is, you know, like 50 years ago, how functioning would they be if they were the one alcoholic or addict in our family that were affecting all of us, but we just kind of stayed silent and didn't do anything? You know, now it's like we all just have that, you know, that random relative, mother, father, spouse, sibling, or whatever, and it's like, what do we do? You know, but they're functioning, like, they go to work, they do this, whatever, you know? So I don't know. I mean, not everybody is a low bottom alcoholic or addict, and low bottom means you can't, like, you've lost everything, you know? Not everybody is, and there's a term even called garden variety alcoholic, which means just kind of run of the mill, you know? And basically what that means is you haven't lost everything. You're still working, you still have a family. Yes, they may be compromised and whatever. So I should have had that conversation a long time ago, and if I offended you, I apologize for that. But I totally understand what people meant when they said that, and I too agree with that. So, what was I saying before that? Now I don't even remember what I was saying. I've totally lost my train of thought going down that rabbit hole. But, you know, like I was saying, I just wish people could see. I don't know, for me, if I could have seen that there was life after recovery, I don't know that it would have got me sober quicker. Oh, I know what I was talking about. I was talking about YouTubers that really, I mean, there has to be. There's, you know, hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of YouTubers out there. Many, many, many successful YouTubers in many different communities out there. I'm sure there's a few of them out there that have serious drinking or drug problems. I don't know how they are, but like I just could not. There's no way I could have, you know, uploaded a video or... I don't know, like, especially in a social media world, like, I think about this a lot, you know, that, but for the grace of God, there were no cell phones when I was drinking and using out there, because I just can't even imagine, you know what I mean? I made a fool of myself drunk dialing a few people, let alone, hell, if I could remember their phone number to dial it into a phone, you know? Let alone if I had a cell phone, my God, you know? So I sometimes wonder about that. I'm like, how do, you know, I don't know. But I feel very blessed for all of those things that I have today as a result of my sobriety, and they are really a direct result of my sobriety. If I don't put my sobriety first, I don't have anything else, you know? You know, it's always like, when I look at like my priorities in my life of what, you know, how my life falls, it's really, you know, my higher power, my sobriety, my husband, you know, my family, things like that. And, I think people misunderstand that a lot. Especially people that aren't sober, you know, like, oh, well, how would you put your sobriety ahead of all those things? Well, the reality is, if I'm not sober, I don't have that, you know? So I have to put my sobriety first, so that I have all of that, you know what I mean? But it's a great life. It's a sad life. Sometimes you see sad things, you know, and you deal with sad things, but I would say the majority of it today isn't super sad. Now I'm going through my head of all the sad things that have happened, you know, in the last month or whatever. And a lot of it, you guys, that's the other thing, is like, I can't talk about it on here, you know? And because I just can't, you know, I just can't talk about it on here. And so it's like, I might be affected that day or feel a certain way or being just like in a slump or whatever, you know? Oh, that was the other thing. I wanted to make videos on all of my channels today. I have my booktube video ready that I was gonna make. I have my drama video ready that I was gonna make, and time just got away from me. And I think that's different where I'm at today, though, than where I used to be, like in my priorities. Like, you know, talking to people on the phone that I needed to talk to today was a priority to me over getting those videos up, you know? If, you know, there were so many people that, when I was getting sober, picked up the phone for me at times that were completely inconvenient to their lives, or left work to come pick me up and take me somewhere, or, you know what I mean? Like, people were so overwhelmingly gracious to me in early sobriety. That it's not like a return of that, like I'm such a great person. It's a giving back what was so freely given to me, you know? And I feel like there's an obligation to that. And I also feel like it's a reminder of where I came from that I don't ever want to go back to again, you know? I'm trying to think of a movie that shows sober life in a way that it really, really is. Oh, man. I don't feel like there's been any really great sober movies that have come out recently. I mean, 28 Days is a good sort, but that's about treatment and recovery. That scene at the end, though, like when the guy with the dog in the plant is so real. Like, that is so funny. And what other sobriety movies? When a Man Loves a Woman. I think that's how early sobriety is. I think it's like a sinking ship theory, like everybody that you went through treatment with, or everybody that you met at your first meeting, and it's like you guys are super, super close, it's like you went through this intense experience, even though it was only like, 30 days of your life, and maybe you were with those same people for just 2 weeks, because some came and some went, but it's like, you're gonna stay together and be friends forever. That was actually really hard for me in early sobriety. I still have my very first book that I got when I was in treatment, and I remember we all signed it, like we were in this big group, and men and women, we would do rec therapy every day together, and so we really got to know each other, and we would sit in big meetings and stuff, and then we would have our isolated little groups, like our men's group, our women's group, and stuff like that. I remember they split us up by like drugs, so that women had like their own group, and then the men were split up by like alcoholics were by themselves, and they were red. I don't know how I remember that. And then there was like just drugs was like, I was blue. I don't remember what they were, but like maybe yellow. But then there was drugs and alcohol, basically garbage pail people that would take anything. That was me. That would take anything and put it into their system. And we were blue. And but we would interact, all of us, in the hospital. And I remember we all signed our books and put our phone numbers in it, and we were all super, super close, and, we would introduce each other to our families, although my family didn't come in because I didn't want them to come in, and all that kind of stuff, and it was very much like When a Man Loves a Woman, if you've seen that movie, like Visitation, and stuff like that, and afterwards, even like her and Philip Seymour Hoffman being that close, like that is really, truly how it is. I mean, it really, really is, that you have this instant connection with somebody else that only understands what you're going through because they've gone through something similar, which I think is really, truly how 12-step programs work anyway. But then, like, one by one, each person went back out, and we'd all show up at the alumni meeting or, whatever, and then somebody wouldn't show up, and then they wouldn't show up for 2 weeks, and it was like, by February or March, everybody that I had gone through treatment with the exception of 2 other guys, were gone. It was hard for me. I felt alone in that. I remember when I said to my counselor, how many of us are going to stay sober? And she said, the statistics say 1 in 30 is successful. And I looked around that room and there was about 30 of us, and I was like, I'm going to be that one. And I don't even know what that was that I had inside of me that thought that, but it literally we could have all thought that, and it could have, you know what I mean? We could have all thought it was going to be us, and we could have all been successful. And that's what I know today, is it's our choice. And it makes me sad, and I'm sure many of them have passed away, and I'm, why me? I think about that all the time, about that woman that won, she got the Oscar the year that they did the documentary on the Holocaust, and she said, when she took the award, she had been a Holocaust survivor, and she said, every day for the last 50 years, I thought to myself, why me? I am no different. And I think that a lot, like, why me? What did I do? There's so many good people that died to addiction, Anyway. I cannot believe I almost made it through this whole vlog without crying. I'm gonna cry at the very end of the vlog. But I do, I wonder that, a lot. Like, I've been to funerals of people that are really good people. Honey. So, with that being said, if you're one of those people out there that's struggling tonight, I'm praying for you. All you have to do is put one foot in front of the other. I know it's scary. I know it's really, really scary. And I think it's like the leap of faith. You don't know what that world's going to be like. It's like terrifying, I get it. But I guess what's the alternative, I don't know a lot of 70-year-old heroin addicts, like people don't make it. They just don't, it catches up with them. And, I don't know, when you see those commercials and it's like, I never thought this would be my life or whatever, you know, those anti-drug commercials. It's like true though. It's like nobody sits there and wishes that, you know what I mean? I do remember reading the book by Drew Barrymore though called Little Girl Lost, but this was like when I was caught up in my own addiction before I had like a taste of sobriety. I mean, this was when I was like 14 or 15. I don't even know how old I was. Maybe younger than that. And I read that book Little Girl Lost about how she was like drinking and using, going to clubs when she was like 12 and whatever. And like there was something about that I was weirdly intrigued with and fascinated. I almost like wanted to be like her, you know, and I just weird stuff. But I've always been attracted to desperation. There's always something about it that's very attractive to me. And I don't know what that's about. I don't know if that's... I don't have that today, so I don't know. I don't have that need for desperation in my life today. You know what I mean? I like having a calm, peaceful life today. Anyway, I am pulling up to the casino where I'm gonna run in and sit next to her and get a cup of coffee or a fountain pop and play my money. And if I win, I'll be there for a little while. And if I don't, then I'm gonna walk on out and I'm going to listen to my audiobook and go home. So anyway, that is my vlog for the evening. I keep on saying this can be short. Last night it was 52 minutes, which was 5 minutes shorter than the night before. That was 57 minutes, and I don't know how long this has been tonight. It's 23 minutes, and now I'm at 17 minutes, so what is that, 23, 43? Oh, that can't be 50 minutes. No, that can't be right, is it? So 23 minutes plus 10 is 33 minutes. That's 40 minutes. So I'm at like 40 minutes right now. You guys think I joke about doing math. I'm horrible about I cannot do math to save my life. I really, really can't. So this is a little bit shorter tonight. So anyway, yeah. Well, I'll give you a little reprieve till the next day. And I'm sorry that I didn't, I apologize that I didn't post my video. I posted it late. I always do that. Whenever I have it ready really early, I forget to post it till way late. But I've had it ready since like 11 or 12 a.m., 11 a.m. or 12 p.m. and I'm sitting there and like, I forget to post it, you know? But anyway, and then somebody texts or somebody tweets out, are you gonna put your vlog up? And I'm like, damn it, Janet, I forgot to put my vlog up today. And then I put it up at like 3 o'clock in the morning. So anyway, if you don't see it up by like 11 or 12 Eastern Standard Time, but 12 a.m. or 11 p.m., tweet it out to me and I'll remember to put it up. Anyway, I hope you guys are having... Valerie parked way out. Why'd she do that? I hope you guys are having an amazing Wednesday, unless you have other plans. But like I always say, do not have other plans. Enjoy your day. Make the most of it. Do something exciting today, or, I don't know, take a nap. Is this a space? I can't. I always think this is a space, and it's not a space. And, if nobody else has told you this today, I love you. Make sure that you look at yourself in the mirror every single day and say to yourself, I love you, and believe it, and tell yourself positive things, positive affirmations about yourself and about life. Today is going to be a good day. Today is going to be a fun day. Today is going to be filled with laughter and smiles, and I think we minimize the power of smiles and laughter, you know? But most importantly, make sure that you pass it on to somebody else and let them know how much they mean to you and how important they are to you. And that was actually a valuable lesson I got from that Rhonda Byrne book, Magic, that you had to like write a letter to somebody in there that like really meant a lot to you, and I remember that. Do you remember I said I was gonna do that book this year? That didn't happen. It hasn't happened yet, which it could still happen. But I remember that from there, I had to like pick somebody out, and I think I picked my Uncle Dave. I think I did my letter to my Uncle Dave, but it had to be somebody that like had really like powerfully impacted you, and you had to write him a letter and let them know that. So I think just to pick up the phone and say to somebody, hey, I've been thinking of you today, just want you to know how much you mean to me, it could change somebody's day, you know? Anyway, yeah, I think that's it. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye. Love ya.